And we are live. Welcome, welcome, one and all. We are just massage therapists. This is our podcast, and we are here to discuss a bunch of things. Specifically, today we are joined by our special guest, Elena Nazarenko from One Echo Healing. Previously, River. Nope, I forget the name of it. River Birch. I was right the
Mhm.
first time.
Yeah.
You know what? The entire time I have known you and the entire time you have had River Birch, I have not been able to remember the name.
Well, there's so many birches.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Oh, there we go. And we are officially live on there.
And on Instagram.
I'm pressing the button now.
And
There we go. All is well with the world. So, depending on where you are joining us from, if you are joining us from YouTube or Twitch, we can generally see your uh, chats and your comments right in our app. If you're joining from Instagram, I'll be sort of coming back and forth, making sure that we can actually see what you've said. And please feel free to comment and join in on the conversation. Today, we are here to talk about lymphatics because it's extremely important to our body, especially with the new research that's been coming out over the past couple of years with lymphatics in the brain. And we thought, who better to actually talk about it than someone whose specializations are inside of lymphatics and who actually does a lot of teaching in this area. She does continuing education in a couple of different ways with lymphatics, and then hopefully we also get to learn a little bit about the egg at the end. I'd love to learn more about the egg.
as would I.
All right, so Elena, what do you think about lymphatics, and why is it something that you have, I guess, gotten so into and have gotten this great love for?
I think it's probably my own journey more than anything because it's like all of us, right? As soon as we struggle with something, it's like, okay, I'm going to learn from this because you can't figure out what to do with the inflammation, or if you're feeling fatigued and you're like, what system is this? And, especially I would say after massage school, where you start studying the human body in such great detail, you're putting all the pieces together. And so as you're working with the muscles, the fascia, and we covered a little bit about lymph, like kind of the basics in school, but I was like, there's a lot of lymph, not only in myself, but in my clients. And as I started working more physically, and also clients come in and they might be under the weather. So your lymphatic system is constantly being pressured, whether it's from disease, whether it's from me overworking myself or overworking my tissues. So I think all of that got me kind of going. I was like, I don't know enough. And so then I like dived in, and I kind of did this whole like, what book can I read, what method can I, and then I kind of went crazy. That's what I did.
That sounds about right.
That
Oh, Cora, don't forget to do the tagging. See if you can do the tagging.
I am do that right
Oh,
now.
so lovely. So where did your journey start? Like what did you start reading and looking into that sort of got you going?
I think I went to Vaughter. That was my first thing I went to, just because that's, we had talked about that quite a bit during school, and my instructor Jan was awesome. She had talked about a lot about that, and I actually still, even in my teaching, I love their textbook. So the Vaughter textbook is just so detail oriented and such a huge a resource for the anatomy portion of lymph and understanding. There's just so much.
Mhm.
So I have a whole bunch of different textbooks, but that one's still my favorite resource. So I went into and used the textbook, but I didn't particularly felt like I connected to the method itself because it was
Okay.
a little bit more mechanical than what I generally lean towards. And so I found myself, it just wasn't hitting it didn't connect with the way I treat, because I'm a little bit of a different therapist.
Ooh,
So,
okay. I keep going on that thought. I want to know what that
well,
means.
it's just because I think for some, it, it's even like some people need. order, like and I'm more like all over the place, and it's more of a fluid flow. I always say, I'm like, I don't know what it is that I do, but it's like everything. It's a bit of fascia, it's a bit of muscle, it's a bit of lymph, and it's kind of all a blend. Now sometimes you have a client who comes in and we focus on lymph, or we focus on this, but it's just kind of a different blend. I tend to just, yeah, all my clients would say that it's different. It's different than anything else they've experienced. So yeah. So yeah, that's why. So I
Very
needed
cool.
something that was different. And so I didn't find that in Vaughter. It was like they hadn't changed much. Like over the last however many years, they hadn't really shifted their methods that much, that I was like, well, but we have changed. Disease has changed. Our body is constantly evolving. And so I wanted to kind of follow and kind of just understand the system that wasn't so rigid. They were a little bit too rigid for me. I need to be free. So
Oh, I love that. So, what did you find? What did you find that helped
so
you?
then I found a bunch of terrible education on lymphatics. And if
That
you
sounds about right.
it was so bad. There was so much. I was like, that is not at all. And so then I was like almost disheartened for a while, to be like, what is happening uh, with like our education? And because it's been marketed, now it's marketed. Now we're all, hey, lymphatics, we're gonna get rid of your puffy eyes. We're gonna shape your belly. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get rid of your cellulite. All those wonderful things. And I'm like, okay, I just want to learn how to move lymph so I can support the body, so we can naturally start to look better and feel better, because our
Yeah.
liver's functioning better, because our spleen is happy. Like, who doesn't want a happy spleen? So I feel like, so what ended up happening, I ended up finding a course, and this was the coolest part, is I, being from Ukraine, found a course right in my home city, and I obviously can't fly there, and especially since the war started. But I can support some of my fellow massage therapists and fellow like schools in there. So I literally started communicating with them. And even before that, I had taken some training there, but I really dove more and more actually in the last couple of years, taking even more classes through online while the war is happening, which is wild.
That is absolutely wild. And also, thank you for continuing to support your economy.
Yes.
So it was just really neat to be able to do it in that way,
Mhm.
and realize how, like, and again, see a different side of it. And did I agree with everything in what they were teaching? No, because I question everything, and I'm like, okay, well, I like this, I like this. It's still, I wouldn't say that I was like, wow, this is all exactly where it needs. But like, I feel like this is where I have a hard time even speaking about it or teaching about it, because I still don't know so much. The more you know, the more you realize you know nothing. And
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth?
right,
Oh,
but I also recognize that we need more information, because there's so much flooded poor lymphatic education that it's actually scary, because it can be dangerous.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
also, there's a lot of fear behind it for any of a lot of registered massage therapists are scared of it, because they're like, well, I don't know. I didn't get the training. I don't know. It looks complicated. It's expensive. That's the other problem. It's become a market for, unfortunately, with classes, instead of being affordable, they're oftentimes just super unaffordable. And it's not like we're doctors. We're not raking in, not that the doctors are raking in. Love you, doctors. But, like, we're not surgeons. Love
no,
you, surgeons. But, like, it's just, we're not going to be able to spend $10,000 on a course when we're
no.
just starting out as a therapist. It's not just something that you're going to invest. You don't have that necessarily to invest in yourself. So,
Mhm.
and it's just, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be able to share and affordable classes that have things, information in it that can be useful like tomorrow, instead of like
How
feeling like,
how did you come about, like, how did you get to the point where you felt, um, confident to walk people through what you have learned and how you practice. Because you've been teaching now for few years, quite a few years. Oh my gosh, it is 2025. It's been a little while since you started.
I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, the first course, actually, even me going into teaching started with a client who had come in after a fall and had some serious swelling, couldn't turn her head, couldn't anything. It was, I'm going to say 5 days after she had this fall, couldn't turn her head.
Oh.
And I was like, well, if you can't even move, I said, have you had x-rays? I made sure she went for x-rays because I wanted to make sure there was no fracture. And I mean, like, she couldn't lay down. So like she had to hold her head to lay down. And we did 30-minute lymphatic drainage. And it wasn't even 30. I'm going to say it was 20 minutes because we spent about 10 minutes in just communicating. And as soon as I began very gently, just pumping, and this is 5 days after her incident, very gently pumping around the neck and then flushing everything down. And she couldn't speak to me because she was swallowing so much. There was so much fluid around. She's like, what is happening? I can't talk. All that excess fluid is coming through. And it was like, she could not believe it. And when she got up, she's got this movement. We didn't do any muscle work. We didn't do any fascial work. And all of a sudden this starts moving. And of course she has a company and she has cosmetic stuff going on. She said, could you teach some of this to some of my like facial people? And that's how I got into teaching.
Sounds familiar.
It sounds so familiar. That's totally how we did that.
It sort of just stumbled in. It didn't like, I didn't even like look. I was like, I'm not ready to teach yet. I don't know enough. and then I came and I was like, oh my gosh, we need more because there's so much that I think we all learn from each other. And just like, as soon as you go to teach, it's not just about what you're learning. You're actually, or you're teaching. It's about how much you end up learning by being able to share in a practical way and an easy to understand way. So yeah, I get very excited.
Oh my gosh. That is really cool. It's so funny because that is exactly how Cora and I started.
Really?
Our first class was actually with estheticians, specifically for cupping of the face.
For facials.
For facials.
Okay, that's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And we started, I think, 3 years after you started, right? It was like somewhere around 3 years. I can't remember. But yeah, it's so funny that that's how we all got our start in the continuing education side of life.
And here we all are, very educated.
For anybody who is watching, if you aren't already aware, Elena is teaching different styles of lymphatic movement. I say lymphatic movement, Elena. Why do I say it lymphatic movement?
Because I don't like the drainage word. Again, we see MLD, lymphatic drainage, and then I go kind of like, I actually watched your guys' full episode last week and the whole toxin, and I was like, yes. I was like, okay, I totally understand. And I was like, I don't want to go completely on a rabbit hole, but I really don't like the word drainage. It's like, I don't want someone to come here and I'm going to like drain their body and we're going to get rid of all of that. That would be insane. In fact, one of the number one things if you're truly doing lymphatic drainage, see, I can't even do it. Lymphatic movement is that you have to know how much to move. Because for someone, you might only do a little bit of lymphatic movement because that's all their body can handle. Because we do not want to put extra pressure on the heart, on the liver, on the kidneys. And so it's really important not to drain because you can actually overtreat someone doing these gentle techniques so much faster. It's so crazy. So yeah, it's very wild. So yeah, do not drain, guys. We're just gonna move and create space. That's the biggest thing. But yeah. So no, drainage bad.
Drainage bad, movement good.
So you had mentioned kind of like learning how to know how much the body can handle. How did you How did you figure that out? What are some signs?
Okay, funny story. How I figured it out that it was dangerous was back in school, because we learned lymphatic massage, um, just like the basics. I think it was year one when we start covering lymph, right? But you're practicing on each other and you're doing the gentle and the sweeps, and you're trying, but nobody's really swollen, like that swollen that you would see. You have such a short, you have all of the theory component and you have a very short time to practice that actual technique. So nobody really had negative results in our class. But then I was like, ooh, my auntie, her legs were swollen. I'm gonna go and try lymphatic massage because I wanted to learn. And I was like, and she was such a willing person, and I know her knees were so swollen, so I started working on her knees, and they went down. They were like this, and they started going down and down and down. She couldn't even believe it. She's like, "Whoa, you're making me skinny!" And then I did the other leg, and she couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and she was so sick, like I mean, so sick. Afterwards, she was nauseous. She had like to run, like she did not sleep. She felt amazing after, but her next 24 hours were very uncomfortable. So I never, if like from that moment on, I realized the severity. And so I started like just being aware and paying attention to the different signs. Like, is her heart rate, you can kind of feel if their heart rate starts to change a little bit, if they start to get warm, if they start to get red, if their breathing shifts at all. A lot of it is just that flushing. If they start to get like feeling even like kind of damp, if they really start to change in however what their normal is. Because I also say at the beginning of a treatment, feel the areas you're going to treat, because if you have hot flashes, if you're in perimenopause like myself, you might have a different normal at the time, and somebody else might have a different normal. So palpate first and see what their normal is, and then like check their heart rate, check their temperature, because if they came in with a proper temperature and all of a sudden their temperature goes up, something else is going on. So I think that would be the biggest thing, is just, I think after screwing it up, I was just very like cautious and like looking at all of the things that could lead. Yeah, that was my long answer. Sorry, guys.
That was a perfect answer.
That was a good
We have
answer.
to do the same thing when we talk to people about cupping, when we're doing a cupping thing, right? I I had one client, and she wanted full body cupping, and I told her all the things and was like, "Are you sure? Because you are probably gonna feel like butt for at least a day afterwards if we do full body." And she was like, "I don't care. I feel like everything needs to move in a specific way, and the compression stuff isn't working. I want to try the cups, but I don't want any marks, right? Because we don't do the marks." So yeah, we did, and I'm talking neck, arms, back, legs, the full gambit. And oh, jeez, dog.
Ah,
That's funny. I was just gonna say gambit. And it fell over.
Oh, sorry guys, that was weird. But yeah, no, we did the full gambit, and I called her. I called her, I think a week later, and was like, "So, like, how did it go? How are you feeling?" She was like, "I was so sick. I was so sick the next day. Like, I couldn't do anything." She was like, "I felt like I was gonna have the flu, but also felt like I was gonna throw up all the time." But she was like, "But the day after, and for a while," she was like, "I feel better than I felt in years." And I've got her booked in again. And she wants it again. And
oh
I
my
was like,
God.
"Just make sure you don't have anything to do the next day."
That is the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Most of my clients, I would say, are very, very good at listening to their home care now. Like they know. When I
That.
say, hey, you can't. I did have a client have me email or text his wife to let them know that they can't do rotor tilling in the garden the next day. It's
Lena
like,
said
you
so.
can't. I can leave you
Yeah.
a note, but you're not allowed to. From what we were working on, you're going to need 24 hours to let everything settle. Because if you're depending on what treatment you have, like it's just to
Hmm.
go in and dive into heavy activity.
I know. I had a person today who hurt themselves. Specifically, it was flexor digitorum superficialis, but only the pinky side. Could not do movement into extension whatsoever. We worked on it. We dealt with it. We dealt with her bad knee and everything. And then I asked her, "So you're gonna rest for a day or so, right?" She's like, "I'm going to Zumba and then dance tomorrow. That's why I needed to do this today so that I could do that tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, girl, why?" But
uh,
yeah. So, so you've been teaching how many sort of levels, if you would, if we want to use that term, do you actually teach and go through with your training?
I, for the most part, I'm actually backing away a bit from teaching at the moment as I try to figure out what the next chapter looks like. So I've backed
Ooh.
off of a lot of the actual formal courses in the last, I'm going to say month and a half. I've like backed away because I think, and this is going to sound really funny, I'm developing my own method.
I love that.
So because now I really, because for me as I've gone through this journey, it's not just lymphatic, like it's a way of treating that's a little bit differently. And so I need to sit back and be like, okay, I want to share with therapists that want to know what I do, so in case they wanted to try it. And I'm backing away right now, but I was teaching um advanced cupping and then some facial courses as well. Some were for like estheticians and Reiki practitioners, and some were more focused on um, registered massage therapists. It's just going to look very different on the in depth of service that you're going to provide.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, I've done lots of self-care courses. So those have been really fun as well. So lymphatic self-care for my clients to, we meet at the park or meet at a location, we sit down, we chat about all of the different things, learn a little bit about the lymphatic system, learn about some easy self-care tips, and have a little fun along the way that you can, like, literally, I'm like, bring a notebook because we're going to take notes. And then all of these different things that you can do that are so simple to add into your routine. It's so funny because nobody ever says, oh, I can't believe I got to brush my teeth again. Like, we just do it. It's called dental hygiene. Can we not have lymphatic hygiene? Like, it's almost like I just came up with that.
That is amazing. You need to come up with like a course, lymphatic hygiene, man.
Right? But like, why can't we just daily? And it shouldn't be another bought item necessarily. Like, everything has to have some kind of this marketing ploy. And so that's where the part, like, even like the way that I teach lymph and lymphatic massage is very much like, if you look at all the courses, they all say a similar message, and that is gentle pumping, know your anatomy, know where the nodes are, know like the when you shouldn't and when you should. Like, so I feel like there's so it's actually pretty straightforward. So the idea that I want now that I've taught enough, that I was like, actually, what I need to do, be able to do a really great pec release. How do we get in there without disrupting, if there's too much swelling, if there's too much fascial restriction? Like, first of all, can we identify which tissue is trapped? Psoas, get into the abdominals, like all of those. So I think it's going to, my training now and my courses now are going to look more, hey, let's learn about fingers. Like, like, it'll be like, let's look at a section and let's take a day just talking about how to magically treat this in a different way than you thought possible. And what are the reflex points on your fingers? What are the muscles? What's the fascia? What's the, like, all of that? Put it all together and have some fun seeing massage from a different point of view, because I
Mhm.
mean, I've traveled and taken courses, whether it's in Thailand and Ukraine, but not everyone's had the privilege to do that.
That's true.
So why wouldn't I just share that now? So that's what I want to do.
I
So
I
that's my
know.
two
love
cents.
that for you. That sounds freaking amazing.
So
I do
amazing.
wanna know what your thoughts are on the research that's been coming out about lymphatics and brain tissue.
I Oh my gosh.
I knew
The
you were gonna.
glymphatic system is just, so I actually include that in some of my, in the basic lymph course, because we talk about glymph and how we can actually actively start draining it by releasing tension around the scalp, releasing tension around the face, and how it's kind of similar movements to cranial sacral, very similar in some holds are similar to cranial, but the pressure's different because you're pulling, it's more like a fascial pull and then this pumping, that's still that lymphatic pumping. So you have this combination of like lymph,
Lymph and
fascia,
fascia?
and and at the same time cranial, like it's this beautiful blend. But if somebody comes in for just a glymphatic session, sometimes they can't drive home. Like, so if somebody comes and has a session, they need a ride. They're just out of it. It's like they've been on a trip. Like, I kid you not everyone, but I never, if you are coming in for an hour glymphatic treatment, we are going to mimic nighttime. And because that's when our brain drains, it's very exciting. Like the, but how many of us are getting enough sleep, right? But we're gonna, I know. So we're gonna like mimic the nighttime, and then we literally just release all of this tension and open all of this up, and yeah, they kind of take a little trip out there. It's amazing. Yeah, I love
That
it.
sounds so cool. Absolutely so cool.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's funny how there's so many different already like ancient teachings that have actually taught it.
Mhm.
We just finally caught up with it. That's all.
Yeah, and we're finally catching up with the, connective tissue system and fascial system being actually alive and not just a stagnant thing.
And
It's not like we've known it for a long time, but it's never been proven,
yeah, exactly. So
and
it's
now it's
really
proven.
exciting to be in this time where it's like everything's connecting. The connections are being made. However, in between the connections, there's just a lot of misinformation. And of course, there's,
Yeah.
and so that's the part that's hard. But when you understand and have a deep understanding of anatomy, you kind of like are like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because there's so many pieces that move, and so I would like to, I'm so excited about you guys doing this because you guys are knowledgeable, you have so much knowledge to share, and for people to be able to like have a resource to go to, especially as, again, RMTs, to have something that you can just go to that can touch, because you forget some things, you even know that you forget, or some things just change. So what,
Yeah. That's one
as
of the
an
beautiful things of what we can do, all 3 of us, really what we're doing is we're keeping up to date with what's going on
exactly.
so that we
Oh,
can help update the other people who don't maybe have the same kind of time and privilege that we do.
exactly.
So, I'm just gonna take a little, break here in the conversation. I just wanna bring everybody's attention down to the bottom here where I've got all of our, Instagram areas to go if you wanna follow any one of us on Instagram. So CNC Learning Hub, that's Cora and I together. One Echo Healing, that is Elena. Cora and myself also have ours just down there, Cora Peters RMT, and just a massage therapist, that would be mine. And that segues us into the egg. I want to know more.
I know.
Me too. Me too. I really do.
I
Yeah.
feel like I, I feel like my life has been so magical. Like it has been ultimate magic because like before I did massage, I taught music for many, many, many years. So like I taught violin and I taught piano. I had like 50 students at one point. So teaching has been a thing I've been doing for a little while. But like I taught music and I played. My sisters and I, we played together in trios. We traveled around Saskatchewan as kids, singing.
I love
and
that.
playing. And so music was a big part of my life. And then eventually teaching became hard because like it was all evenings and my kids were growing up and I didn't want to miss that after school time with the kids. So I had to back away from the teaching. And I definitely still, even to this day, I miss that excitement you get when somebody just finally gets it and plays their favorite song on either the piano or the violin. But what ended up happening then is like, you kind of back away. And I've played, I have music in the background for a long time. And then actually one of um I never even heard about the egg myself. It was a couple of years ago when my client, who we've become really close friends, uh, was like, "Hey, I went to this meditation retreat and I dreamt of this egg, and then I thought I need to make this egg, and then I thought, well, maybe somebody's already made it, and then he literally like Googles it and then finds the egg and goes to the States, looks, he's like, I'm going to get this egg. And somebody had already purchased the egg for Saskatoon. So he was pretty crushed. And when he came and told me about this musical egg, I was like, I think. I think you're going a little cuckoo, Like I was like, "What are you thinking? You're sitting in a wooden egg?" Like I was like, literally, was like, "I love you, but I think this is maybe for the best, right? Maybe for the best that you." But I had no idea what it was. I didn't actually do the research. I was just focused on muscles uh, and lymph. And then what ended up happening a couple of years later, I was ready to shift. And actually, him and I had oftentimes talked. I was like, I'm going to open up a center or I'm going to open up a clinic. And he's like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm like, no, no. And then all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to make the shift of actually opening up a clinic. And I had the moment in the car where you're like, I need a change, universe. I'm here. Use me. Like, what can I do? Like, I don't have the time to, or finances to just get a building and get all of, and I don't want to like put all the walls up and all. I need it to be a building that has this many rooms. It has a big enough room for me to teach. I had all this list. And the next day he calls me and he's like, hey, so like out of the blue calls me and is like, hey, you want to go check out an egg? And I was like, not this stupid egg again. Sorry, egg. But I was like, I'm like having this crisis where I'm unsure where I'm going in my business. I wanted to expand, but I felt, locked.
Yeah.
And so we went and we checked out the egg. And it was 2 days later, we went and checked out the egg, walked through the beautiful space. And I sat in the egg and I was like, I cried. I like right away. They like reclined me back. It was just for a few seconds. And I was like, music is back. And that's where I was like, oh my goodness. I could feel the lymphatic system in my own cells because I could understand what was, I'm like, I'm swallowing. Oh, I'm swallowing. And, you can feel the, like all of the things that are physically happening, you can understand and you get excited. It almost does the opposite of like calming you down because you're like so excited that it's happening.
Yeah.
But it's just uses sound and light to create this. Well, it's an cocoon, really, an echo chamber where it activates your own body's ability to heal itself, calming the nervous system like nothing else I had experienced so quickly. Like I just couldn't, and all I could hear was birds and animals. Like it wasn't even a song that had been playing. I think there was a guitar in the background from the piece, but I'll never forget. I felt like I was in the ocean. Like I could feel the whales like on my back because the way the chair kind of sits, you're floating. It's a zero gravity chair. It kind of looks like grandma's chair. It doesn't look like a fancy chair, but it is so comfortable. And so the egg, from that point on, I was like, I come on, like, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty cool egg. and then, we're like, let's do it. And he's like, I'm like, do like and I didn't realize the whole like lease, what like the whole space. The thing's 5 minutes from my house. I was like, it has just the right amount of rooms. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Everything was there. And a person who's like, yeah, let's do this. I'll do the investment part. I'll do all of the business. I was like, all of the stuff I hate, you're gonna do. Like, yes. It was like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
I love this egg. I've spent 5 minutes with it, and I don't fall in love easily. So this was something that was like, I'm a Scorpio. I don't trust anything. So anyway, so I was like, yes. I was like, I asked. I was specific.
You were very
And within
specific.
24 hours, I got more than I asked for. And so I'm just excited to share it with the world. Realistically, I mean, there's eggs all over the U.S., actually all over the world now. But it's just these pods. They're made up of like 800 pieces of wood, and it's specific geometry to help the sound amplify. So the sound comes from the two speakers, and it's not about like the frequency. It's about each instrument, each owl, each whatever sound that goes through stimulates a different organ, a different part of our system. So we sit down, we have a chat with you, and we decide what song will be the best to help bring your nervous system down and maybe wake up some organs. And it's just really mind, body, spirit healing. It's absolutely transformative. And
I
it uses
cannot
like
wait to come try it.
it's amazing.
I literally can't wait to come try it. I mean, I have to wait, but I will be there. Eventually, I will come back to visit, and it's one of the things on my list to do.
Yeah, so I love it. I love it. And that's the egg. Kind of, in a nutshell.
So
Eggshell.
what would a session with the egg look like?
What
In an eggshell.
a session in egg. So like it's in the egg itself, you're inside it for 50 minutes, 50. So 40 minutes is sound, and it can go through one long song or multiple songs that kind of evolve and shift as you're going through this trip, we're going to call it. And then the last 10 minutes is silence, because your system has to calm back down. So 10 minutes of silence, 40 minutes of different types of, whether it's music or sound. And then we give you an electrolyte drink. But it takes us about 15 to 20 minutes to sit down, especially in the first session, to see what song that we think would be best for you. And then we place you in the egg, recline you, give you a little blanket, and then you always have a button. So if you're like, hey, I need to pee, because sometimes that happens, the lymphatic system gets activated, we've got to go. So you have a little button, so we can help you get out or change the volume. But yeah, so it's usually you're here for about an hour and 15, hour and a half by the time it's all said and done. We have a little chat afterwards for home care. Depending on what you saw. Lots of times it's like breath work, like things like that.
It is absolutely wonderful. Anybody who is interested, again, she's got all of that stuff at the One Echo Healing. She's got all the information there. You can always look her up. The website is just oneechohealing.com, is it not? Yeah, so that exact thing, but .com.
And there's eggs, like there's our sister company, I guess not us, but like Kindersley has an egg. Edmonton has an egg.
Oh,
like
I
they're
didn't know Kindersley had one.
everywhere. So it's kind of neat, and we're all like kind of like friends. Like we get to kind of like, hey, you got an egg. Hey, do you want to? I got an egg too. But we're just all super passionate about just helping people, and in this day and age where their nervous system goes like this, to be able to because for some of my clients, even lymphatic work is too much at times. So to be able to just place them somewhere where we can bring their nervous system down, so when I go to work on them, they're not instantly flaring up. It's really helpful.
Yeah. So do you think that it really does it helps with things like inflammation, lymphatics,
Nerve pain.
nerve pain?
Yeah, nerve pain is a big one, and autism. Like, so we've had lots of like the we haven't had in our clinic too much going through, but like just on being connected to the other centers, like somebody who's nonverbal all of a sudden can speak after one session.
Oh,
Like
wow.
the shifts that we've had, the healing post or during cancer treatments, to try to get the nervous system down and stimulate, like, because I swear I could feel my bone, because it's that gentle vibration. So it really does stimulate, like, it's almost like the music hugs your body. But I mean, we know that frequency in music is just so calming. And it's not that you can't do this at home, but how often do we actually stop?
Yeah. We just got a comment here from Brooke Smith. You guys remember Brooke Smith, I'm assuming?
Oh, hi,
She just was like, "It is amazing." This is
Brooke.
someone who has definitely, experienced. How you doing, Brooke? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the information, be able to get a little bit more of that out there for more people to understand, just for their own
And
health
we
and well-being.
we haven't really advertised at this point because I mean it's going to be up. It's actually, we couldn't believe it. November 1 is the day that we got the keys, so it's almost a
Almost a
1 year.
year.
Yes. And we have never advertised, just simply because we wanted to organically shift. And down the road, it's not that we wouldn't, but it just was like we were trying to figure out and get to know the egg, the music, the all of the things. So we're not just like jumping in, but it just has been such a journey. I just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I do. Oh, Brooke also says, "Hi, teachers."
Aw.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been absolutely illuminating and enlightening, and I am so, so grateful that you were able to come, both Cora and I, absolutely grateful that you were able to come and join us. And just as a heads up to everybody who's watching, this is not going to be the only time that you see Elena on our screens. She's gonna get to pick and choose when she wants to come and join us, and we will see her again. If you'd like to ask any questions of her, you can always ask them now, or you can post them in comments later when we post this one up, and we'll be double checking them and seeing what you guys say or what questions you have, or you can always come and find us at our different places, our different not places, but Instagram, all of our Instagram stuff. We're all kind of more on the Instagrammy, YouTubey side, and not as much on the Facebook and other sides, like other things. So that's generally where you're going to find us. Or you could just go into One Echo Healing and sit in an egg. Cora, I think you have some news about workplace as well. Am I not mistaken? You have switched to a different workplace, have you not?
Oh,
would you like to
I
share your
have.
news?
Yeah, I am now at LifeMark.
Ooh.
Yeah, super exciting. I've always kind of wanted to work with other practitioners. And I love being able to work with the physios and actually be able to go back on their notes and their SGI assessments and WCB assessments and actually incorporate it into my treatment. I love it.
Yeah, so be sure to go and check out LifeMark. So Cora's there now. She's working Tuesday through Friday, right? Yeah, sorry. She's got hay fever right now, so don't mind her. She's going to need some time in the egg eventually.
Yeah, vitamin R is my friend this month.
You are
I
hilarious.
reacted. R reacted.
You're hilarious.
Not actually
yeah,
vitamin.
sorry.
Don't.
Not everybody knows that inside joke,
Where's
man.
that stored? What system transports it?
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else that you would like to add for today, or shall we zip our time and have our little after chat that nobody gets to be part of?
I just want to officially thank you so much, Elena, for agreeing to join us today.
For all the questions, and it's always so nice to feel heard and that somebody wants to know your story. So I just like so appreciate you guys having me on here and being
Aw.
excited with me.
Oh, definitely excited with you. I
Very
did not
exciting
care
things.
that much about the lymphatic system until you. So,
Actually, that's the truth too. The lymphatic system was just there until you came in and taught it for my class. And then I was like,
yeah.
huh,
It, it's a
maybe I could
thing.
get into the
It's a
system.
thing.
Well,
Oh,
it
and
is
by the
something
way,
I now do regularly.
favorite organ. You know how you said you like the kidneys, Chelsea, last
That's
time.
Chelsea. Oh, yeah. Kidneys.
I would have to say I have a tie between the thymus and the spleen.
I knew you were going to say spleen.
I
I knew
know.
spleen
I
was going to be in there.
love the spleen. Love the spleen.
No,
So yeah.
we don't know enough about the spleen.
Oh,
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we'll have one where we just all talk about the spleen.
and we just our spleen needs love. Like we need to support our spleen. Like if whenever we're sick, the spleen kicks in and it does all of these things because it is such an important lymphatic organ. But we just forget to like love it back, and then we're wondering why we're so tired because your
Mm.
spleen's weak. That's why we gotta strengthen the spleen.
We should make shirts.
Strengthen the
Love
spleen.
the
Yep.
In
spleen.
Chinese medicine, there is a where we hold worry weakens the spleen. So we also have to release our worries, or
Oh,
else our
yeah.
spleen will be weak.
Well, you know what? We still haven't made our list for November, so maybe we will pick a day in November and we'll do a spleen talk.
That will be a spleen today.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
best joke of the
Oh,
night.
I couldn't
We
help
should
it.
put that on a shirt.
Have
Have
a
a
spleen
spleen
today with
today.
the spleen sitting there. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Little spleen with hard eyes.
I'm not gonna lie, one of the clinics I worked at, I've talked about the spleen so much, they actually got me a t-shirt that had a little spleen and it said have a spleen today. It's no joke.
Yes.
That's
I
amazing.
wore it so much, I wore it thin, but yeah, so it is a good t-shirt.
That is so funny, and I love that. Okay. I think that's a good place to end our stream today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Again, we are just massage therapists. We're just talking about what we want to talk about and how we see things. We're just moms. We're just wives. We're just people. At the end of the day, these are just our opinions and our thoughts, and we hope that you enjoy listening to them. So, yeah, we will see you in another episode.
Bye.
Bye.